Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Scholarly Sidetracks. And today we have on a Juwan Chase. How are you?
Doing good. Can't complain yet. I will later.
See, I always like to dedicate at least 4 hours a day to complaining myself.
Only four?
Well, I've been trying to be healthier with it. I'm trying to cut
Oh, okay.
back.
Right.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know you, Juwan, what do you do and what makes you you?
I work for a consulting firm, as some would say, and I'm an assistant. And I don't know. I think what makes me me is there's no one else like me, uh, and that helps me out.
It helps you be your own self and stand out when there's no other people to compare to.
Exactly.
Good deal. So, have you known about your unique individuality your entire life, or did it take a while for you to discover how you are?
I can't think how you ask these questions. I love it. I think I I don't know. I think it took me a while to kind of learn who I was and who and what I kind of brought to just any situation or just life in general. I think it was mainly college, honestly, that kind of broke me out of whatever shell I was in. Or else it kind of helped me finish the process, I guess. I think it started in high school, but it college was when I was like, okay, wait, people are reacting to me in a different way than they react to literally everybody else. So there has to be something here.
It's got to be different. So, in high school, then you're saying like that's kind of like where the start, the breaking out sort of thing happened. As far as like you as a student or what your life generally looked like, what were the things you were interested in? Whether it was certain subject types, things you did in your spare time.
I was always more of a like artsy English person, so I did way better in my like English classes and language classes than I would do in like math classes. I feel like that's always kind of the give and take there. I would be like doing great, find me an essay, it's written, it's done. But you want me to do algebra? I don't know nothing about that. So that's kind of how it went. And then by the beginning of high school, I was living kind of far from my high school. So I couldn't do like after school activities. I couldn't really get into too much because my parents weren't about to drive and like, pick me up. So it was either get on the bus or go home. And then once we moved a little closer, I think like towards the end of my sophomore year, that's when I kind of got more involved. And then junior year, I was in like that's when I started doing like a theater, a lot of artsy things like that. And then his student council was a period like freshman year where I was doing football, and that lasted 2 months.
Hey, that's
So
still a little chunk at least. You gave it a
it was
try.
something. It was something.
So you got pretty well involved with theater, arts, student government. But like by junior year comes around, you seemed like to have a identity. You had like a I guess that's good enough word. Image, identity. You had like a persona you were trying to make for yourself. And so when junior year, senior year comes around, did you kind of already know you were planning on going to college later on? Was that something you were tossing around? What was that whole thinking process going?
I had no interest in going to college. I
Okay.
didn't like. School was okay. Like it wasn't like I disliked it. I just wasn't that interested in it. I was like,
Sure.
I can't, become Kim Kardashian's bestie at school.
She's
What were
not
you
going to
doing?
find me here.
She's not gonna find me. And so I was like, whatever. And then I think senior year, I mean, people are like applying to colleges, like, we're all talking about it. And so I was like, I guess I'll apply. Like, it just really went like that. And then I had no really, like, I didn't even know what I really wanted to do. Like, I was just like, whatever. I just knew I wanted to get out of my house. And so I think one of my childhood friends, she was like, hey, what, like, were you applying? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, you should apply to U of A. And I was like, okay. And then I did. I got in, and then I ended up getting a scholarship just off a whim. So it worked out.
And just for anyone who doesn't know, you went to high school where?
Mountain Point High School.
This is in Arizona.
This is in Arizona. It was like Phoenix. It was for like what I got for like my public education that we know. is struggling. It was great. Like everybody was so diverse, and we got a lot of like AP classes, honors classes. It was really nice.
So you felt like that you weren't going to be just kind of stranded in college at least? Like, did you feel like, oh, this school's doing well enough that I feel like I'm, for whatever words, like, yes, we have our strengths and weaknesses, but I feel like I'm a well rounded, smart student or I can tackle things even if they're tricky. Did you feel like the high school did good enough for that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was always smart. I never felt like, I mean, I feel like people were smarter than me, of course, but I wasn't like struggling. I knew what my strengths and my weaknesses were, so it didn't surprise me when I got like a C in a math class.
Gotcha. And so you get accepted to the U of A with the plans of getting what kind of degree?
I entered with a theater degree. I changed my major every year, as you know. Still
So new
graduated in
fresh
four
start.
years, so whatever. No, I was a theater major with a minor in creative writing, and I started that way, and I ended that way.
Oh, hey, it worked. It's all full circle.
Right.
So when you're doing the theater work, was it like something that freshman year? Did something in theater push you away, or did the second thing you changed to draw you in?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I think I was listening to other people, and I felt like they knew more than I did, which was never the case. Uh,
Find out
so
later they were stupid.
I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was like, because I was like a film major for a second, and then I was a creative writing major for a second, and then I was like a psych minor. It was like, I was like, what am I? What's going on? So I don't know why I just decided to wake up and change that one day. I remember having that meeting the day after I had a rough night. Let's just say that. And I think that played a role.
This was contributing factor. And so the advisor seemed like a benefit to you. Did you have a good academic advisor that helped you sway, or was kind of everything as far as your choices pretty much you, what you were listening to random people, whatever?
We she was I mean she was fine. Like
I always love the
she
pause when people go, "Wait,
well it's
fine."
like I think she did her job, I guess, to advise me on like what questions I had. Like I would come in with questions, and I guess she would answer them. So sure,
She did, like, on paper seemed good. Do I care about her? I don't know.
I guess that's the plan.
So, what is it about these artistic avenues, whether it is the creative writing, the theater that you started and ended with, what parts of it are what attract you to it? Why do you care about the arts? Why do you like being in that kind of space?
I've always known that I was not like like a textbook logistical person. Like it just didn't mesh with who I was becoming. And like as a kid, I was always doing like weird stuff. Like I was always like in my own world, like making stuff up. Like I in my room creating like an imaginary world, or I'm like putting video games but like wanting to change them. I remember I like rewrote really in the High School Musical, as many people were, and I rewrote like the whole like I think the third movie. I was just like I'm gonna just do it different, and then
Let's fix this.
it was like made it a play, and then I was like we were like doing it at school, so it was like a whole. So I've always done that, and it just kind of felt that's just what felt natural to me. I think I'm a very instinctive person, and so if things feel good, I kind of go.
Gotcha. And I know from some people I've spoken to who are in artistic avenues, or specifically in college in this case, where they pursue the arts, it can be its own kind of bumpy ride. Like, yes, like maybe physics or medicine or whatever, these like harder sciences might have like an academic difficulty to it. But with the arts, it oftentimes kind of tests your passions and makes you maybe question whether you want to still be in it, if it's worth it, if like what you expect to do, like if you're going to be creative writing, what you think that's going to be might totally turn out different. So I'm curious on how you might have felt during your 4 years, and we'll just say college at this point, of basically navigating like higher art education.
Yeah, no, that was like the struggle every day. I was like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's
Fuck
the
everything every
point?
day.
Like, everybody's dumb. Like, what? Like, what's the problem? Like, what's going on here? And it, I just went, I honestly, I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. Like, I knew that I wouldn't want to major in anything else. Like, I was into psychology, still am, but I knew that that wasn't gonna was gonna make me happy. Like I could use that later, as a master's program or whatever. But I knew like right now for these 4 years, I would want to focus on a more, I guess, artistic track and kind of struggle with that because that was gonna make me ultimately a better artist or like a better creative. Just because I'm having that struggle, right? I'm like, I'm around all these people and they're like mad at me. It was difficult because my friends would be like in these like math classes. They'd be like, it would be like really going through like biology and stuff, and I would just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go make a costume. Or I'm gonna go. I have a monologue to do, like it's whatever. It's a it,
Different tasks.
it was different, and my grades were great, and so we were like, yeah. So they would be upset, but that's not my problem, and I think I let that be my problem in the beginning. It wasn't until like I kind of got more comfortable and like what I wanted to do, and, like who I was, which was like I was starting when I started college, but like it really got solidified. I think like junior, senior year, once I was like in my fraternity, and I was just more involved, just in general, like across campus. It became like a thing.
So you're saying at first you had kind of a problem with that discrepancy, like you're saying like your work wasn't as legit as theirs kind of thing, or
That's what they would kind of make it say. They would like it was like that was the subtext of like what they were saying. They're like your work, yeah, you're just like
you're
you're
just playing in
easy.
your arts and crafts class.
Yeah, which is like how a lot of like more I guess analytical people or like more science based people think about the arts, which is it's their business. Like I can't, I'm not gonna be a doctor. I'm not cutting people open. That's just not what I'm doing. But you're also not performing on this monologue on this stage right now. So it's like you kind of gotta let me have it too.
Yeah, that's always the funny thing to me when it comes to the discrepancies or like the divide between arts and sciences and then, humanities floats around wherever they are. And that usually a lot of people think it's got to be like one or the other. And you're like, yeah, like person to person, it could be one or the other. Like Juwan could be more artistic. Maybe I like arts a bit, but maybe I just learn sciences sort of thing. But we kind of need both. Like if we're taking in this case like theater, if we have like stagecraft, I, as the scientist in this scenario, I'm going to get bored from time to time and I'd like to be entertained by a show. And if I have a bunch of people like me, well, this is going to dig me down because I suck at art now. Like, if you had a bunch of people who didn't know what the hell they were doing or had no passion or care to do a play in this example, I'm going to be bored as shit. I'm going to be like, well, look at all these people just flailing around and fucking, they don't care. Why should I care? Why is there no care in this? Because the care begets care. So if I just have other people who want to do the art part, I'll take care of maybe the science and the technical part of building the stage and making sure this equipment actually works. They don't have to know how the light comes from that machine in the sky. They just know what color is on the ground and what they got to do when they're in that spotlight. We can mix these things together and have a world that just works as together.
That's what kind of the point I would be making. I'd be like, "What? We all need each other. Like no one's more important here. We're working together. Everything flows together. Like I need you to give me the medicine, girl. I'm sick. Also, you need to be able to talk about something when you're at the water, getting some water at the can here, and I'm the connector. Like you're talking about what you watch on TV. You're talking about that song you heard. You're talking about that poster you saw. So it's like, it's a give and take.
College kind of has this funny thing where it is a time where a lot of people get to expose to new things and the diversity and such, but it also gives a very kind of like tribal banner mindset for each person. Like you have the theater majors, you have the physiology majors, the business, that you have your people and like these are the good people because that's what I'm part of. Like these are the good ones. Everyone else kind of stupid. You're all wasting your damn time. You're not going to get as good at jobs. You're not going to be as fulfilled. Whatever everyone's going to say, you're going to have your own justification. And you're like, no, fucker. This is the one time when you're supposed to realize that we have all these different things that have to happen for having a full, well-rounded world. And we all exist. We can all be good and happy. And yeah, you're not in my spot. Maybe we don't talk that often over here, but there's going to be parts where we can connect. And it does not matter that our majors are different.
Yeah, people are, in their corners in college, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So during your 4 years, as far as like kind of talking about how like there's jobs that you can get with arts or sciences, whatever, was there any kind of college positions that you had, or did you have to work at all to pay for tuition and such while you were going to school?
So tuition was paid for, thankfully. So that was
Good deal.
done. And then I always worked because freshman year I was an usher at that theater. That was a time. That was fun.
Oh, memories.
And then I just kept kind of as the years went, I just kind of added on jobs. I feel like freshman year was like I was an usher at the theater, and then sophomore year I became a desk assistant in the dorms, and was an usher at the theaters. And then junior year I was a desk assistant and a like oh my god, what do we call them? Resident assistant, RAs.
All right, it's okay.
I did that. So I got free housing, thank God. And
When you get rent out of the equation, a lot of things open up.
and yeah, that was junior year. And then I think halfway through junior year, I stopped the desk in the dorms, and then was just working as an RA in the dorms, but I would be working at the desk at the LGBT center on campus.
Gotcha.
And that just kind of helped, I don't know, put me in more places. I mean, I think senior year, at a certain point, like if you knew somebody, like if you talked to somebody on campus, they usually knew somebody that knew me, or you knew me. And that was because I was kind of doing all types of stuff.
Do you think part of that is thanks to you're a very gregarious person, we'll put it that way. It's like you're very sociable. Yes, we talked at the beginning how you're different. Everyone talks about him differently. He's iconic, blah, 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 bullshit, whatever. But when it comes down to it, you're good at talking to people.
The context here is Bryce was so upset. He would be so upset freshman year because people would come to our room. So we were roommates, and he would come to our room, and they would be like, "Hey, Juwan's roommate, where is Juwan?" Our names are on the door. I never know why they did that.
I don't know either. Like, dude, you literally had to walk through my name to come to, Juwan's roommate. Hey, is Juwan here? No. Oh, well, can you tell him I was here? Who the fuck are you? Oh, I was Miss Buddy in fucking 404. Okay. Bye.
These are people that live in the wing that know him. It was just, I didn't.
These are other big guys down the hall. And I'm like, dude, I've been here for 3 months. Fuck, like, and I say hi to you every morning. Whatever. I'm over it. It's a decade ago.
Right. I'm glad to know you moved on.
I can bring back passion when needed.
It was so like with that. So like that being like the start. That being like, okay, we're here. Obviously, people are reacting to me differently. So when people would meet me, it would be like, oh, they would talk to their friends about me. There was a lot of times people would just say hi to me, and I'd go, I don't know where we met, but I'm assuming you had a good time.
Okay, so all of these, when you say like people treated you differently from like high school, whatever, it's an overall positive thing.
So far, I mean, some people don't like me. I mean, I don't have like, I'm the villain in somebody's story, I'm sure. I just don't know who that person is.
Sure. But it's good to still have, like, no one's going to be 100%, but to have an over-under of like, oh, generally, people know Juwan's name for positive things.
If we were doing a poll, generally favorable.
Good. More or less, yeah, okay.
Right.
So, for someone else, let's say, who's either in high school pursuing the arts or they're considering going to college, and yes, you might only have the U of A's perspective. Don't worry about all that. If someone else was like, hey, I'm curious about also doing theater, creative writing and such, what would be some maybe positives and even negatives to it that maybe they wouldn't know otherwise unless you were in it, instead of being like, oh, I looked at the website, it says I'm going to do all this. Yeah, but
I would think really look into, I mean, don't do what I did, which was not look into anything and just go where they accepted you, and where I like applied to that one school. But I think do your research would be number one, and then don't listen to other people about what you should be doing or what is going to get you that job at the end of the day. Because I mean, I know people that are in medical school looking for a job, like still, or people that are went to school for business and now because of what's going on, like everything that's going on, they're still struggling. Like, don't let that deter you from pursuing an arts degree. Just because, I mean, there's a lot that I learned there. I learned a lot about just how the industry itself is functioning, and we're in a very flexible state with the industry at the moment. So it's any information you can get is going to help you out. And I think don't discount networking and connections. I made a lot of connections with the professors, different, there's like people around. Like I'm always talking to people, so it's great to connect with those people and see where they can maybe take you. Because there's a lot of times where I wouldn't have been in certain rooms or talking to certain people if I hadn't just walked up and said hey or done anything.
What if I'm not that confident in myself? How do I even like start saying hi to people or even network? What would you tell me to help my timid ass stop that?
It's I guess it depends on where you are at in your artistic journey. It's like the more comfortable you get, not you don't have to be like me level expressive. Like that's like I'm like over there. But like feeling
And for those who
comfortable,
couldn't see it, it's because it's so far away that he's way over there.
I'm just on the other end of the spectrum. It's just different. No. But everybody is expressing themselves in a different way. And I think however you choose to express yourself, people will react to that. And especially when you're in kind of an artsy environment, they're kind of looking to connect to you in any way that may look like. And so be open to that connection, whatever that is.
So not everyone has to look the same of being the loud, boastful, pop into a room. Oh, hey, what's going on, everyone? That you can have your own personality and however that looks. People are still going to enjoy it.
Exactly. People will appreciate that a lot more if you're just who you are.
Good deal. One thing I did catch when you were giving the little talk just now, when you're saying like, don't just kind of sell yourself short and pick just whatever you apply to. Are you saying that you were like applying to one other school and you pretty much just took U of A because they accepted you, or what do you mean by kind of that?
I think I applied to like one school in Denver. I wasn't going there. So
That's pretty much always just going to be the U of A.
they were like, okay, well, I mean, it was either U of A or where I wasn't going to college because I didn't want to go. I just applied because I was like, why not? And then I ended up getting accepted and then ended up getting a scholarship. So this is an accident. This whole situation here.
Okay, so that's what you mean by doing more research, because you
Right.
didn't like look at U of A for its theater program or blah blah blah. It's just they just said, "Come here, we'll give you free money," and you're like, "Okay."
Didn't know what the mascot was. I couldn't even have told you anything about that school. So don't do what I did.
Like that. If you're listening, do a little googling at least of a couple schools you're applying to.
Right. Right.
So you're going through the 4 years. Do you have a plan at any given time there of like, hey, I'm going through these 4 years. I choose theater inevitably because I want to be able to do blah, or I want to work as a blah. Is there any kind of like goal that you're working on during those 4 years?
Hmm. I didn't have like I'm gonna go to school for 4 years and then I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna do this. Like I didn't have a plan because I didn't have a plan to go to college. So I was kind of just making things up as I went. Like I was truly just doing whatever felt right at the time or whatever I felt like I needed to do. Like I remember junior year, I just woke up one day and said, "Well, I think it's time to get an internship," and so that's what I did. and, and that was just, but also like the internship I got, the opportunity that I got was something that I created because I just had a connection with this media company that was in Tucson at the time, and I had done like a photo shoot with them because again I was doing artsy stuff, and so just because of that, I was like, well, it'd be cool to intern there, and so I just emailed them to do that, and they were like, yeah, and that was just what we did, and so again, I just kind of went as I went along, and I think a lot of people do that in the arts, like because you're not unless you do, unless the plan is to go to Broadway and that's it, then there's really no like stepping stool here. Like, you kind of just are figuring things out. And I knew, but I didn't know that I wanted to still perform, still write, and I was okay with whatever that looked like at the end. So when I got to senior year, I was like, okay, well, this is all over. Wonder what's next. then, and I just ended up moving to New York for a few months, and so it was just doing whatever. And then I'm like, oh, now
I
I'm
would have
just
guessed that. I was just thinking like, oh, he's definitely going to go to New York. That's what
no,
everyone does.
of course, obviously that was the plan. And, but I mean, and that's kind of how but that's how I live and do things. Like I'm always trusting myself. I always know that I have my best interest at heart. So my next step is always going to be correct for me because I want to do that.
That's good that you were able to find that. Well, I know like for myself and all the thousand things I've changed my mind on and done whatever, that there are other people too that don't always have that kind of, I guess, baseline feeling of like, well, I know that whatever it's going to be, I'm going to be happy with it, or I'm going to figure it out because, yeah, maybe I screwed up or this wasn't right for a time, but I wanted to, I tried it, and it felt good to think about it, even if it didn't last anywhere, but I did what I wanted, and oh, I did it my way, whatever thing. And then it's good that you're able to accept that.
Because it's just like, what else is the point? I mean, to me, it's just like, what's the point here? Like, what am I doing here? If I'm not going for the things that I want, which is to write, to perform, and not be held into like this box that I feel like society likes to put you in. They like to kind of package you up, and I've never fit. I mean, it became clear in college that I did not fit in whatever box that people thought people were supposed to be at. I was not there. So it didn't make sense for me to be abiding by these rules that I didn't fit into. Like it just didn't make sense for me. And so when I say, I mean, I still struggle. Like I'm like, oh, should I do this? Should I still juggle my options, but it's like I always know that at the end of the day, I'm always going to figure it out because I always have. And whatever I'm going to choose to do is what I choose to do. And I'm never going to regret it because I wanted to do that thing at that time.
That's nice. That's a good way of putting like the no regrets thing, because sometimes people kind of just phrase it as like a almost bullheaded way, like you just stampede through, like whatever, I don't regret it, I did think, fuck it, it sucked, whatever, it's over. But I like your phrasing, having it be more of like a comfort or like a self-love, if you will, of just knowing that I did it for me at that time, and future me is not going to be upset because he's going to do whatever he wants at that time, and like the whole track, it's always just me now, me like this, future me like this, me do this, whatever.
Like yeah, like no, don't feel pigeonholed.
Yeah. Okay, so then we finally do graduate. And what makes you go to New York? What's like the next step? What makes you do anything?
So I was like, what? I moved to New York, I think in October of that year, and a lot happened between like me graduating in May. I just like personally, I went through a lot of like family stuff, and like I lost a friend, and so I was going through a lot at that time. And then I think one of my best friends, she was living in New York at the time, and we were kind of going through it together. So she was like, "You should move here," and I said, "Yeah." And I had just went, I think, like visited in June of that year for World Pride, and I was like, I loved it. It's New York. And yeah, I was like, okay, I mean, this is what people do. They go to New York, they audition, and they do things. This is what we do. And so, yeah, I'm going to do that thing. And then, yeah, that's what I went. And it was certainly an experience. I don't regret anything, like I said, but I would definitely not do that now.
There's no second try on that one.
Like do that in the way that I did it then. Cause I kind of just got up and left. Like I didn't have a job, I didn't have nothing. Like I just was like, we're gonna get up and we're gonna go. And that led to obviously issues. But I mean, it was fun.
It was memorable.
You know, it was fun to like audition for Broadway and like go to these things. And I was doing a lot of background acting at the time, so it was great to be on set with these people and meet directors and meet other people in the industry. I worked on a few Ryan Murphy shows, so I got to really get to know like how he runs his sets and things like that, and it was really nice. So I also like be watching a TV show and go like, oh, I see myself. That's fine.
Look, lean back
Um,
right there.
I was like, oh my god. And then they kind of have these stories, and so it was fun.
So was the tricky part of being in New York that half of things of like doing the whole industry stuff, or is it more like the back end, like housing, money, that whole thing? That
It's in case you didn't know, it's expensive to live in.
yeah.
And I did not really have the grasp of that until I got there, and I did not know where my next meal was coming from. So it was really a struggle. It was a hard time. But then, and I ended up having to get like knee surgery or like soon after that. It was like a whole thing. It was so dramatic.
And this dramatic time lasts for like how long? How long do you get to stay in New York?
6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 6 months, and then the world ended.
So were you were in New York when it splam happened?
The day like returned to Arizona because I had to come back was the day
That's
it
good
was
timing.
declared a pandemic. Yeah, that was crazy.
So, it's kind of like we've all been alive through it, so we try not to dwell too much on it. But what we'll just say for like 2 years, like 2020 to 22, depending on what state, what town, whether it opened up a lot or not. Whatever, not that kind of conversation. Well, is there anything that you're doing through that time to either, it's not necessarily has to be a job because, not everyone was able to at that time, whether it's things to help you mentally survive, whether you were actually, maybe you were doing High School Musical 4 that you were writing a play for, or
Actually,
maybe you did find a job that was like remote or in person, whatever. What's kind of your way of getting through COVID as an artist?
I was doing. I mean, I tried a lot of different things. Like I was like doing YouTube for a second to my like 5 people that watched whatever.
Hey, I worked hard on that audio. No, I didn't.
I didn't work hard
I
to
could do it
have
a lot better now,
119.
but
But we're different now. but but I was just doing that, and I was like writing scripts here and there, and then I started school. I was going for like a master's program. I ended up not liking what that program was doing. It was just different. I just didn't. I should have done a little more some more research. How about that? And
this is
then
also at the U of A, or
no, I think this was at ASU. I was at ASU, and I was kind of doing kind of psychology, but in like a social work context. And I did not account for that because I was trying to learn about human behavior, and that's not what the focus of that program is. Right. But I think that was 2021 was where I was doing that. And I mean, that was fun. It was fun, like, learning about stuff and like being at home. I was like, whatever. And then, and then I was interning for a little bit at like this. So they would get like low income people that would like get bussed into this place and they would spend the day here just at this like I guess facility is what you would call it, and they would just do different activities all day. Like think of like like a mental health camp, but like in like a school context, and you're with the same people every day.
so these people live and stay there, or they just come to
They're
visit?
they're bussed in from this like low income housing place, like, and then they come here during the day to get whatever mental help they need. And so now I don't know how it. it was legit. It was just kind of interesting how they did things because I was never really given that much like um material to work with as far as like okay, this is what we're gonna do today. This is like what this the curriculum is or whatever. Like these are like the goals for today. We'd have like themes for the month. So like this theme was like wellness, or like this theme was like physical activity. Like I don't know, and you would kind of have to speak to that in these sessions. Like they would just be going from room to room, and so I would just kind of have to give them, I guess, like a certain like just a talk back essentially, like a TED talk. It's like a TED talk every day of like how to advocate for yourself, and this is how we're going to do wellness. This is what these are some new facts, and that would be and I would have to come up with that like the day of. Um, so it just helped. Again, theater helped out because I was good at it, thinking on my feet and things like that. That was cool. And then, but halfway through that, I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Again, I'm very in alignment, intuitive, and so I would just be like, this is not it. And so, stop doing that. And then that's when I ended up working where I work now, which is at a consulting firm.
What kind of consulting does the firm do?
Good question. Yes. The answer is
That
yes.
usually leads to something scummy or vague, or I don't know.
It's scummy and it's vague. Yes.
So, you said you were like a desk assistant. Is that what you are at this role now, or what?
Yeah,
Where
I
do
just
you?
make sure. I just make sure the people know what their meetings are and like that they pay their
Okay,
bills, whatever.
so, uh, you're still there since like 2022 or 23 is when you started there. 22. So, is this it? Is that the jam? This place is where you're staying at, or you have
Ugh.
something cooking in the back of your head, or you're not really worrying about that right now? What's kind of, if anything, what are you thinking about?
I think I I don't know. I'm kind of juggling my options at this point. I think the current landscape, just worldwide right now, has kind of made those options a little limited. But I'm still, I still do my kind of artsy stuff on the side. Like I was just kind of working on a new reality show, and so I'm still like kind of going to LA here and there. I was in LA most of last year, and then yeah, so I'm still like in it. I guess I'm just kind of trying to find my way with the new landscape, because like I said, the industry is very in a very flexible place right now. So you're kind of getting in when you fit in. So,
Yeah, that's kind of the thing now with the whole dynamic of I'm only gonna speak on America. Of course, that's all I know. Blah blah blah. But yeah, like arts, true science, good education. It's all just getting thrown away. National parks, everything, like anything that you could think of that's cool, nice, and endearing. Get rid of it, sort of thing. No more money for it.
right.
Um, so it's good in the sense that you're not totally like what's the word I want? I guess devastated or like totally distraught or lost. Like pisses me off every single day, but what doesn't? So it's good that you're not like wallowing and like I'm never gonna be an artist again, and it's not so much about like maybe you're not in New York and working on Broadway, but like working on the reality show or doing like your own stuff that still that counts. That you don't have to be on someone's payroll as artist number one to be an artist still and to enjoy what you do.
No, I mean, unfortunately, I've gotten really into politics. So, of course, not to talk too deep about that, but that's unfortunate because now I know what's going on. and it's easy to get so into despair and just so like lost, and you don't know because truly don't. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I don't know what's happening in an hour. Like, there's so much going
But you know
on.
something's happening. Like it is like a time and a half constantly.
Constantly. So you're never like you can't catch a break. You can't like catch your breath here. But I think looking because I'm also a history buff as well. I know in moments like this, because everything repeats itself, that is where art is going to be that beacon, that light. what people need. Like when people are making art, people are creating these things, people are like using this time to really send a message. And that's kind of what art is, always been a kind of a way, a kind of a self-expression. And so I think focusing on that helps me stay like any type of sane.
Whatever that can look like, that's just what it is now. It just starts twitching. So to make sure that I hit the two kind of big things I generally have on the show at the end, the first one is we are now calling it inflection points. I used to call it a redo in your life, but no one gets to do it, blah, blah, blah. This is more like, let's say I'm some random person you don't even know. I'm a high school student or I'm a college student. I'm asking you about, like, hey, if you had a certain point in your life or even a couple that were pivotal in some kind of fashion, whether it was your decision to go to U of A and this led to blah, 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 or like your big change to go to New York or whatever, something that was either positive or negative, something that you would do again or maybe not, anything that was an inflection and worth noting to someone else, like, hey, if this happens to you, consider what happened to me, and that might change your opinion, or maybe it won't, but at least you'll have one person that said, hey, I was going to change my major 14 times and I did. Maybe you should try and figure it out beforehand. Really, whatever. I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass.
What I would say as far as inflection points, not to sound like a bro, but
There you go, very good.
right. But joining my fraternity really did open up a lot. And it really did. It was like one of the best things I did in college.
That's like the gayest thing you can do.
It was a gay fraternity.
Double dipping. So I guess talking on that, I didn't even think about that when you mentioned it in college. Why'd you go for a fraternity? What made them stand out in any way? What was the attraction? What was kind of the sell?
Yeah, wanted some friends. I don't know what else to say. I wanted to be a part of like with the people. Like people were doing this thing. You like saw it. I think it's when when the kids were on Facebook.
On what?
And they were hosting these like recruitment events. I remember this was like sophomore year, and I was like, you know what, like this is time. I'm gonna do it. Something to put on the resume as well. Who knows what will happen? And that's kind of how I do things. I'll just be like, well, this looks fun. Why not? And if I like it, cool. If I don't, I can just stop. And that's how I approach a lot of things. And that's just how I approach this as well. And I didn't factor in, I guess, how important it would be or like how definitive that this was going to be for me. Because, I mean, not only did it help me, get friends, like I like had a lot of people to do a lot of stuff with. It was great. But it also was a good way for me to become more of an advocate for my community as far as uh, LGBT people and like being really involved. Like I'm working at the center and I'm helping our drag shows. I'm like being this I'm like people know me on campus because I'm part of this fraternity. So I'm like speaking to that. I'm like, so it became I'm volunteering around the community. So it helped me really see how far we've come as a community and how farther we need to go, but where we can do those things. And it was great. Like it also just helped me kind of be more around campus too. So it was a lot of fun.
So for anyone who might hear this and be like, oh no, fraternity, that's scary, that's hazing, that's just a bunch of dudes getting together asking for $1,000 a day to assault you and everything. Can you speak on if that's totally off base? I mean, obviously each fraternity is different. Like I think you survived, obviously, but is it as scary as some people might think of being at least in the fraternity you were in?
I think speaking on my experience, I never had that. Different people do different things. You kind of know the the fraternities that we're thinking of. I think you know when you see
People are strong with their vibes sometimes.
like so if you have to question it, it's probably yes. I just never had to question that because I was like, yeah, I know what's going on. Like I know what's happening. I feel okay around these people. I feel safe around these people, and these people are looking out for me. And it was great to have that going through college in general. Like you can really, end up in some situations. And I was never around people that didn't care for me at any moment.
And do we get to know what fraternity it was? What were the letters? What was the chapter? If you want to name drop them, since they seemed positive.
It was positive. Delta Lambda Phi, DLP as the kids call it. It was great. Truly, like I look back at that as really a big highlight.
Cool. So consider joining Greek life in some way. Find one of the good ones, that you feel comfortable in, that you can find the community that you want, however that looks. If you're bro dude energy, have a good old time. If that's not your jam, you could still be in Greek life, it sounds like, and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Cool. Then the second thing is essentially a point where I stop talking and you're allowed 30 seconds, 30 minutes of unfettered time to whether there's a part of your story we didn't hit that you'd like to share, you want to be inspirational, funny, or just say thanks everyone, goodbye. If there's anything you'd like to say here near the end of the episode, what would it be?
My advice because I feel like college is very different now than when I was a kid. But
Let it be known we're the same age. We're at the time of this, we're only 28. We're not decrepit yet, but I guess maybe by some standards we might be little spider webs under the arm.
You're past 23. You're old.
You made it past that critical age. Your body is deteriorating.
It's really take like advantage of everything around you when you're in college. Like I think doing what I was doing, if I had an interest in anything, I would just go and do that thing. And this is the time to do that. So I cannot stress that enough. Please, like any interest you have, just like check it out, because you never know where that might lead. Like I did not think I'd be doing half the stuff I was doing in college by the time I got to senior year, but I just got there by waking up and going, you know what, why not? And I would go in with that mindset. My other part here is since it's been a decade here, how is Nathan?
Well, okay. So, Dr. Nathan Sharp, as anyone can refer to him with the full respect he deserves. I guess depending on how much you've heard at all, he's an optometrist out in Joplin, Missouri area, if not Joplin proper. He's working for some private practice, little kind of, I think it's a mom and pop type. It's like one guy who owns it with however many doctors in there. He's kind of hoping to take over one day, be the main doc there. Married, has a little shit kid, love him so much, Apollo, a little nephew of mine in a way, and he's done really well being kind of kind of almost like the suburban dad kind of life, whatever. Like he goes to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, has the wife, has the kid, gets into a bowling league, plays disc golf with some friends that he just finds randomly in communities and stuff. And he does pretty well at just entertaining himself and having a good old life. It's fun to watch.
We love to see it. I'm glad it worked out for him.
I'm sure he misses you every single day, though. I'm sure he goes to bed and he looks at a picture of you and just goes, one day.
I love it.
He's going to like that part. I'm going to be like, Nathan, you're going to want to listen to Juwan's episode. He's got a little something in there. Okay. I guess just to make sure, do you feel well spent? Do you feel like you've been interviewed thoroughly?
I mean, did you get what you wanted to know, Bryce?
I think so. I mean, I don't really go in with any real agenda in any sense. It's mostly just to kind of get what were some talking points or highlights from either high school, college, why you did certain things. And the main point to this story pretty much is you wake up and you do the thing of the day, essentially. Whatever you feel like it's going to be, that's what you do. And generally it's artistic or helping people, entertain people, take care, whatever, like that kind of vein. And how you went about all that helps other people who might listen, who are also curious about doing the same things. We're like, whoa, is this going to be easy? Is this going to be hard? Do I even want to do it? How do I go about it? And just hearing another perspective will help a lot of people.
Okay. I think we hit it. I thought you'd have more, I guess, direct anecdotes you would want me to speak on, since You know me.
No, I don't need to pull too much from the past, like. So when one feels like various slices of a loaf of bread, what are some like key ways to recover and make it through the day? Like if you go like on a 3-night bender and you spend the next 6 days recovering, how the fuck do I speed that up? I can't just waste 6 days on recovering. I don't care how much ass I was throwing. I gotta go back to work. Is there a special tea?
You would know you made the tea.
I was in the tea shop every day.
I speak about that frequently. Every time I'll tell Ethan you say hi.
I tried, I even tried to have him on the show, but he's like, fuck you, I don't even know you anymore. I'm like, okay, goodbye. It wasn't like that, but he declined to respond. So
No, you took. I'll have to ask him about that.
So yeah, there you go. Maybe he'll I'll have him on for like season 4 and be like, okay, so Juwan said I had to be here. I'm like, no, you wanted to be here. I'm like, oh, what about this Juwanism?
That's what they were.
Juwanisms. I think there was a time when they were Jujuisms as well.
Entertaining.
Yeah, you're like Prince or what's the other one?
Artist formerly known as Prince. Thank you.
Yes, he's one of my favorites. He's formerly known for a couple reasons.
Are you not at the club, Bryce? I'm so shocked.
No, like I'm not usually there. And I've only went to one frat party, and it was that one I got in for free. I still remember that story to this day.
I was like, I'm shocked.
Well, I got to share that story anyway, since we were talking about fraternities, because everyone's like, oh, fraternities are scary. So let me give another perspective on how they're not all that bad. I don't remember what name they were, but they were, I think, the engineering fraternity on campus. That was kind of like their vibe. Like they really had engineering students. And I think it was some combination of like you and Ethan or a couple of random like hall mates at U of A. And we're like, let's go to this frat party. It was like a random Thursday or some shit. Like it was just some random day in the week. It wasn't like Friday highlight. It was just like a random day. Let's do this party. And I'm like, fuck it. Okay. And back then, almost 3 times a week, every single day almost, I was wearing some kind of Hawaiian shirt, some kind of flower, like, here, fuck me, here I am wearing a flower shirt anyway, but it's elevated now. It's just nice.
It's elevated. It's elevated.
It used to be not elevated. It was the like stereotypical, the deep red Hawaiian shirt type thing.
Okay, don't let Bryce fool you. The girls still loved Bryce. It was never. It was different. Like Bryce was like peak Bryce walking around campus in like 100-degree weather with like gear on him. Like he was in. It was deep.
They're like, who's that guy? Just like, I was soaking it up. This is before I lost my heat tolerance in Colorado. Just like, it's 110. Fucking yay.
He like takes off the shirt. He's like there, like in the room, door open, 8-pack just out. Like he was living his life.
I don't know what happened to him. He's like kind of there a little bit, but not all the way. There's remnants. But so I'm wearing my gear. I'm wearing my sunny time, normal Hawaiian stuff, whatever. And we get to this frat house, and they already got all these dudes bouncing around outside, and they got this little stupid cheap plastic table and like 3 bouncer dudes right outside the gate to get into the house. Like you have the little gate, then you have the yard, then you get inside. And they see us walking up, and I don't know if anyone else knew the theme, and they just didn't tell me. But we get there, and these guys are like, "Ooh, yes! Oh my god!" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You're on theme. You're on for the party." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, we're doing Hawaiian night." And I'm like, what? Yeah, we're doing Hawaiian night. We got the flamingos. Everyone's wearing the flower shirts. We got these plastic leis, whatever. You guys just come on in for free. And I'm like, okay, sure, cool. I didn't think about how there was going to be money. I just thought, oh, it's a party. We're just going to get in. Well, we go through the night, whatever things happen. And you're like, well, what did he do? Not much, because this was freshman year Bryce, and he was Mr. Razor, straight edge, go to bed at 9:30, boring ass.
9:30 was a late night.
I was like eyes caked over, grumbling, like, can you guys shut up and try to go to bed? Second half freshman year and later on, we work on that. But back then, And so I get through the night, whatever, there for like 2 or 3 hours. I'm not there that long in some sense. I get home, Back at the dorm, everyone's like, "So what'd you do?" Oh, I tell them the story about the dorm, and they're like, "What? You got it for free? And you just partied and nothing happened?" I go, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?" "Yeah, that's like what a party is. Like dudes always have to pay, especially out like dude frats. Like you always gotta pay like $20 of like a what the fuck is that called?" It goes off and I shows off and go to the club. A cover charge. There it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Some kind of upfront fee. And I'm like, no, fuck. They liked my shirt and they let me in, and that earned me a lot of status in that dorm. They're like, "Oh my god, Bryce could just like get into a frat fight." I go, "I just randomly wore the right shirt and got lucky." Never went to another one again. I never heard. Like I never cared. Like it was a nice enough time, but I was like, loud noises make me uncomfortable. I ain't staying there.
It was not for everybody. I also don't even remember what night that was. And so that's great. Because it was a lot of that. It was a lot of, wow, let's just do something. And you would go do it. And that's important to have.
I hope more people, if not everyone, does that some way, because that's like my favorite part about having been at U of A, being on campus, like my freshman year, and then again in my junior and senior. Not my sophomore. That's why I got that's notoriously my depresso espresso year, because I was far from campus. I was like 2 miles. It wasn't that far at all, but
It
to
was
go
far.
that huge change,
It
yeah,
was
for 2019, that's far. And so to not be able to just like wake up in a dorm and you're surrounded by a bunch of friends or variable people, just things to see, things to do, or being on campus and you can just literally just hang out there and see shit and you just be like, "Oh, I like that." Just literally just walk over to it or run over to it and see people from class, whatever. That's like the best part. It's just you don't know what's going to happen that day of people you're going to see, whatever. And if you're literally on campus, you're more likely to just be like, "Oh, hey, it's Juwan. Oh, hey, it's Max. Oh my god, look, come here," and fuck off for a second, and or I spend the whole day doing random stuff because I'm just here for lunch. "Oh, well, we're actually going to go see a play, or we're going to go up to the mountain. What do you want to do?" And you just go fucking do it because you can.
That's great. I think you also, I don't think, if I remember correctly, the people you were living with at the time were not, how should I put this? I guess the most social butterflies in the garden.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. I was just gonna say, some people are really good friends and not the best roommates. Not that they were bad at all, but as far as like when you were used to being in a dorm and you have just like I mean, we also were apparently a rare occurrence for of the 30 of us, 25 of us liked each other. Like we were all a pretty good group of dudes.
We
And that was
did.
apparently uncommon. Most group, like just even in our dorm building, like different halls, people wouldn't talk or interact with their hallmates at all. And so you get used to having all these people around that you can just do shit with. Not every person has to be on call all this time, but you just go down the hallway, all the doors are open, and you go, "Okay, is Deegan here? Deegan, what's going on, buddy?" And you just kind of do something, and then all of a sudden you get to just basically living alone, but with two guys that you're like, "Hey, you want to do anything?" No. "Oh, okay. Maybe tomorrow." "Hey, you want to do anything?" No." "Oh, okay. Oh, you just gonna play the game some more?" "Oh, okay. Okay, bye." Like, that's just like your everyday. Oh,
I feel like you also were coming from a place because our room was like where people would meet. Like it was, everybody would come there to then meet whoever else was in the hall.
our door was like the second or third from when you came in. Everyone was there to either see like our RA for a second, or they're there to see the Juwan, or later Deegan, or they'd see anyone else, or they'd be wondering about the whole. I won't say his name. The one guy that busted a hole in the wall, whatever. This whole stuff. So there was plenty of people, so they always had to like come through by us and be like, "Hey, what's going on? And what's the thing of the week?" And we were like, "Oh, well, here's what we got."
What's going on?
It was a good time for anyone that's like, dorms are gross, kind of weird. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
kind of. The bathroom, yes, that's like the main contingency. But if your school has something like ours did, where you have kind of like a find a roommate program sort of thing, where it's like you have a questionnaire, you answer the survey of things that you like or what's important to you. Like maybe you want to be able to stay up late, or maybe you want to be able to wake up early, or you're very quiet, very loud, whatever stuff. And then you can get matched with people to sleep with. That's how Juwan and I we
That
found each
is
other.
how we talk. I forgot. I was like, I should go back and look and see if I could like find the messages. It was like on
Yeah, I
some
have no idea
thing.
where I could even find that.
It was on something. We were like, because I was supposed to live with Ethan, and then I mean, thankfully, I feel like that worked out.
And I think it worked out too because I was supposed to be with Mike the first year too. Like he was my number one, but I think he just never responded. So like I talked to like my first like top two or three people. You were one, like you were number two. So I was like, okay, Mike, Juwan, whoever the third guy was, and you responded, and we're like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, let's fucking do it. And then you get there, and your RA sits with you, and he's like, okay, so if one of you has a condom on the door, what does that mean? And then you both have to
I
answer
think
freely.
Mark did ask that question.
You're like, that means we ran out of condoms, go buy more, or don't come in. Like you find how well your answers jive, and then you get the final say of like, okay, this is gonna work. You guys can live together. You get the thermostat speed, you get the thermostat temperature. Have a good time.
That's the condoms were a conversation. Were a key part. It was hilarious.
They work for Juwan. I didn't need them. I wasn't using them. You know how sad you almost feel like how do I phrase it? It's almost like you work at Blockbuster and you just never watch any of the movies and you just keep handing out movies to other people. You're like, oh, I bet that one would be fun to see. They look like they're having a good old time. I don't fucking know. Shit.
That's what happened.
You like read the label, like, oh, that looks fun. Here you go.
He bought them day one. Had a strap. I was like, all right.
Let's expose our. Yeah, those things went unused. I think I just ended up throwing them away on expired. They only last so long. People read the expiration date. They don't last forever.
They do not. What a time.
What a time indeed. So yeah, definitely go. Maybe you'll find a good friend while you go stay in the dorms. Just try it. You're on campus anyway. It can be expensive, sure, but whatever. Like, there's a lot of benefits to it. Even just to try it, it's worth the try.
Yeah, I met a lot of people. I think I have a lot of friends now, just from like being in the dorm. I was working in the dorm, so it was also like I just stayed there.
There's a lot of changes for me during that freshman. Like, it was very pivotal. Found out that gay people and black people existed. Oh my god! You don't get those in Utah.
What I would say to people, I'd be like, when I would describe you, I would be like, yeah, he's from Utah. He knows about. I think he's seen maybe 5 black people, and I'm 3 of them. So we're working it out.
There was times, people know me now. I'm still not always great at the way I phrase things is different. Sometimes it can be slightly offensive or different, whatever. But that was definitely that was the first real trial run of things to be like, not like necessarily like, oh, he's definitely a racist. It's like, oh, he's just dumb. Like, he just don't know.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Has he never talked to anyone before?
The answer is yes. They were not in St. George.
They were, yeah.
I've been thinking. I actually think about you every time I turn on Hulu, because when I'm turning on Hulu, I'm watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I was like, oh my god, are these the people that Bryce used to go to school with? Because now I understand.
I need to watch the show to know for sure, but literally from anyone I've talked to that has like any stereotype you can think of with that whole culture and culture you want to talk about, yes, is kind of the fast way to say it. Like, not every single thing and not all the time. Generally, though, yeah. And so that kind of changed my perspective. And I was glad to go to like a different state, different school, different kind of people, and be like, oh my god, the real world is better. This is
So I was like, oh my god, this is
It makes
crazy.
sense now.
I was like, now I get it.
That's the best word. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a time. People working together, Utah. There's a theme song that's like that. Literally, that's one of the lines. My buddy John knows it better than I. He knows like the whole song, but every time I hear the word Utah, I just always think Utah, people working together. Like, it's all just big camaraderie. It's an annoying thing.
Hey, lift up the spirit.
As long as it's the right spirit. We don't want to talk about anyone's wrong and stupid spirits. No, there's this one. You like it? Okay, great. You don't? And this is all they do. Fucking, you don't realize how often people stare until you move to Utah and you just like look around. And you're like, the hell's everyone looking at? And you're like, oh, me.
Is it because your hair is long? I hear that's like a thing.
Yeah, now, but back then, no. I think it was just because I think it's because they know. They know who's on the list or not. Like now, obviously, like, oh look, it's Flower Boy with his long hair. They're like, different, man, ew. I made it easier for them to find me now.
Where are you? Are you in Utah?
Yes.
I was like, where are you? What is going on?
So to do like the fast catch up version, because my episode of catching everyone up is like an hour and a half. So graduate U of A, moved to Phoenix to do audio school in end of 2019. 2020, I'm in Phoenix during COVID. 2021, I moved back to St. George during more of a peak COVID in that sense of, oh, I don't have a job or school, better go back home. 2022, I'm in Denver. 2023, I'm in Salt Lake City. 2024, I'm in Tucson going back to school at the U of A doing astronomy. Decided to do academic advising, long story short, and couldn't get a job there and had rent to pay for and made it back home, St. George now.
Okay. See, that's kind of what I've been doing, which is just hopping around.
I haven't lived somewhere for 2 years in a row since 2018, 2019 in Tucson when living with Max. It's been basically move every year. 2024, I didn't move that year, but I was only in Tucson for a year and a half that time. So basically, a move a year for the last like 5 years.
That's like, I was just talking to someone because I was like, those three from 2021 to 2024, I didn't move at all. Like, I moved.
What was that like?
I moved one time, and that was the longest I've been anywhere, and haven't moved since I can remember. Like, as a kid, we moved around all the time, so I it was like the longest I've been anywhere, like at all. So I was like, this is fun.
It is a funny concept. Like how some people are like, oh, I live in the same place all my life, so it's fun to bounce around. But I also like growing up in school or K through 12, whatever, moved around several times, whatever, and then moving around again in my adult life. It's kind of like, well, yeah, I like the variety, but it'd be nice also to like get used to have a network of friends and restaurants or whatever that I could go to for 2 Christmases in a row, maybe. That's a small bar.
Okay, so you stayed. You didn't move in last year. Last year I moved was like when I like moved to LA and like did my whole thing. So that was like we were on like opposite sides there.
Yeah, whenever you're in motion, I'm staying. Whenever you're staying, I'm in motion. Yeah, and we'll see. There's theoretically another move on the semi horizon. It kind of depends. I'm working at a medical school right now as an exam proctor, which isn't all that. It's a nice job. Don't get me wrong. It's just not enough. It's not a full-time gig. There's not benefits, blah, blah, blah. And I want more of like an academic advising type gig or more student facing, blah, blah, blah. And that could happen there. I'm also going down to Vegas this Friday to talk to some, a coordinator essentially of student success there to try and kind of get an idea of what that's all like. See if I maybe want to get my master's there, try to get a job there, whatever.
Okay, Vegas. Vegas is cute.
Honestly, like I enjoy it a lot. I've had a lot of good memories there, and I haven't quite hit them all. And I don't know that I necessarily need to hit every single one, but I'm trying to have an experience of staying at least one night in just about all of the strip hotels. And I'm literally just over halfway now.
How was that?
Oh God, so nice. I had a girlfriend at the time, and so we were able to share those experiences on that. And like everyone has, they hear the word Vegas and they're like, oh, bad. And you're like, to me, I just treat it as like a resort and food place. Like that's all it is to me. Like I just like the place, like somewhere to stay that's different, somewhere to sleep that's different. The food is really good in Vegas, in my opinion. The drinks are fun. That you can literally stay in most of the resorts and just look around at random shit for like your entire day and be entertained that way. And so that's always my thing. Like it's not debauchery central. It's food time.
Listen, after living in LA, I feel like Vegas is a bad rap because that is debauchery.
I mean, I can tell you where all the good bathrooms in the resorts are. Like, if you want like a certain shower head, like I've got some experience firsthand with that. That that's important. You want to have a nice spa like experience, whether solo or
Well,
otherwise.
cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
This is great. This is great. It's been a minute.
Yeah, was the last time we like even talked a little and see each other was like the random dinner like a few years ago, and I was in Phoenix, maybe like Ethan was there. He went to maybe like a
Oh,
pizza or
yeah.
pasta place.
We did go to a pizza place. I do remember we did not like it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, let's not come here again.
It was like right before you moved to Denver.
Okay, yeah, so that'd be like 21, 4 years, 4 years. Gross. Everyone's gonna be like, well, they're not friends. They haven't talked to each other in 4 years. Wow. Friendships are tricky sometimes. You kind of realize the time is passing by, and you can only text, "Hello, how's it going? What are you doing?" 400 times before you're tired of it. So this is why this is
Listen,
another reason I did the podcast, to be able to be like, all right, what the fuck's happened to you for a while? I have no idea
right.
what's going on in your life.
Actually, I don't know. And now we know. And
Now we know.
now we have a good idea. And now when I'm in Salt Lake City trying to see where the housewives live, I know.
I'll come up and I'll be like, all right, so this is where this is, and you're like, I need to go to Park City, I need to go to Sandy, or the 14 million townships they have. I'd be like, all right, I can get you there.
You can see this lady, this lady, this lady. We have to catch
Drive
them
up to the
outside.
houses. Have you met Juwan? Juwan Chase? Yeah, 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 yeah. You want me? He wants to meet me? Yeah, yeah. He's watched your show. He loves you. Oh my god, I love him.
Exactly. And then I'm on next season. We got it.
That'd be a funny shit. How'd you get on the show? We literally walked up to their house, said, "Can I be on the show? I love your shit. I also want to be part of it." And they're like, "Okay, cool."
I think we got it.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Say no? I doubt it.
Why would they?
Doesn't make any sense. Well, this was good. I wasn't sure how this was. Not like I thought this was gonna be bad, but I just, once you're actually doing a thing, it's always more enjoyable than like, I wonder how it's gonna go. This is a nice time.
So what season is this?
This will technically be season 3. You'll be. Let me double check my little notepad here. I think you are number 28. Will be
By
your
the time you
episode.
had me on here,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you listen to all other 20 episodes of the show and kept badgering me about, hey, Bryce, you should put me on the show. I'd be a really
what if
good
I
fit, and I
did?
have a story to tell.
What if
Then you
I
could
did?
send me the receipt of that. You could be like, bitch, look, I asked you like 14 times across an entire year, and you just left me on red or said, no,
I just felt
got
like
more
you should
important
know.
people.
I just felt like you should be aware.
Or how about this way? Maybe the narrative was more like I was using other people who are more dispensable to work out the kinks of the show, and then once I had it all figured out, I could bring you on,
I like
so I
that.
wouldn't be half-assing it.
I like that perspective.
Nathan went through some shit being the first person I interviewed, and now things are better off because of the pain he suffered.
I'll have to watch that. I want to hear about Joplin. I saw them. I saw a documentary about the Twister
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened, and I was like, "Oh my god, no one! I did not know." It
It's
got
kind of
critical like
creepy.
that.
Oh, it was like a big deal, and I visited him summer or two ago. I think it was last summer. Well, not the most recent one. The time before that, 2024. And he's driving me through town, whatever. And you're driving through. I mean, it's not a big city, but there's plenty of buildings, 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 buildings. Empty wash of just grass and everything. And I'm like, what's going on here? He goes, oh, this is where that really big twister came through. It just tore it all up, and no one's rebuilt because of bad luck, bad voodoo, whatever. There's a little memorial over there, but yeah, this is where it tore through, and it was huge. It was like several hundreds of yards, whatever, of just this gap. It wasn't like, oh, a little strip, a couple buildings gone. Oh no.
When I was in, because when I was in my documentary bag, I was like, we got to go through it. We got to find it. And I was like, this is so crazy. I can't believe this happened. How are they doing? I know it's triggering over there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like still a nice town, at least up till today. I don't know how they recovered, I don't know how long it took for them to do all that, but now it's a cute town. It's one of those things where it's pretty well spread out. I mean, it's not. I'll just compare it to Tucson, I guess, because I'm not going to compare it to Phoenix. But a lot of people won't consider Tucson to be a city, even though it's got over 1 million people, because of how spread out it is. This is more like, more often there's patches of just random land in between everything. Like there's still like the greater Joplin area, but you'll have like a little neighborhood, empty housing, restaurants, business, empty patch of nothing, and like just weird little pockets that are all kind of like spider web together.
Tucson was so spread out. Looking back on it, I guess it
Yeah,
was like ASU was spread out, but it was like U of A as a campus was just one big rectangle, and everything else was kind of like whatever. But like ASU, I felt like was a you know not don't get me with the forks.
I
But
got him ready right now.
so good. But I was like these buildings are kind of everywhere. Like I like there's no like set like area. We had like an area. It was fun.
Yeah,
But
you didn't have to worry
Tucson was
about
great.
cars most of the time.
They would get I would be going through with my bike.
Let them hit me. They can pay for my. Here's
It
Juwan,
was
who
great.
has no tuition anyway. Make them pay for my tuition. I don't care.
Had to pay rent somehow.
Yeah. Money's got to come from somewhere. Might as well come from that guy.
There we go. Well, tell Nathan I say hello.
I will. I always do. I make sure that I can't let that connection die. It's just been so heartwarming to see and watch it blossom and then die immediately and then never get regrown again. But to know that it could have been something. Nathan's listening like, no, there was no blossoming. There was nothing. No, there could have been.
You get scared.
He just denied
No.
it. The poor straighties get scared all the time.
They do get scared, but that's okay.
Skittish, you know. Cool. Then I guess just to make sure I do the outro. Without further ado, thank you very much to everyone who came to listen to the show. And thank you, Juwan, for being on. We'll be back on again some other time. Have a good one until then. Bye-bye for now.